Right, as you see here, there's just three products that we are going to delve into and try and address. These fall under our voice alarm systems. We actually have 5, if I might say, voice alarm systems. The first one is the VM2000, followed by the VM3000, followed by the VX3000, followed by the SX3000, SX2000, and followed by the VX2000. But the VX2000 has already been discontinued. And though we still have lots of them on the market, we are still supporting them. Right, let's start with the entry-level voice alarm system. This is now not just public address. So this is public address hashtag or / voice alarm system. So guys, when we talk of voice alarm system, the difference between our 82000 range, our 1700 range, our 1800 range, our 5000 range, there's no ways you can input or you can download a message and put it in the amplifier, because these are public address amplifiers. However, with voice alarm systems, you are able to download messages into the amplifier. Number of messages depends on the particular amplifier you're dealing with or a particular module you're dealing with. So we'll try and cover those as we go along. Okay, so the first one that we have is our voice alarm system, which is a Venus voice evaluation system. It's entry level. There's 2 amplifier packages available. The first one is a VM2140. The other one is a VM2240. Both we have got the same front and rear characteristics that are the same. Exactly what you see on the front of the VM2140 is what you will see on the VM2240. If you look at the rear of the VM2120, it will be exactly the same as you'd find on the VM2240. Right, let's take a look. This is a voice alarm system, right? What it means is, for us, when we are saying entry level, it does a minimum of one zone meaning one area per amplifier, a maximum of 5 zones. The whole entire system can be configured in such a manner that you can have one master. One of these units tends to be a master, supported by another 7 slaves, I think. Let me cross-check. I'll cross-check for you, because this system can do a maximum, it should be 8 slaves, maximum of 45 zones. So if you are going to build a system of 45 zones, but of low power, which is 120 watts or maximum per amplifier, or 240 watts maximum per amplifier, you can also opt to use the VM2240. But like I've said, if they are wanting an EN54 compliant voice alarm system, this will not work for you. If you want a budgetary entry-level voice alarm system, this works well. The challenge that we have with this one, this is a bit of a challenge for remote technical support, because you have to know the system that well. Why I'm saying this is there's no network connection to any of these amplifiers to your PC. So if you have TeamViewer, any desk, I can't log in to do any adjustments. I can't log in to do any configuration file changes. All you need to do per each amplifier, you need to open up the amplifier and do deep switch settings. Everything here is set up by using deep switches inside the amplifier, outside the amplifier. Okay, cool. I hope that makes sense. So the 2 amplifier, what packages is a 2120 and a 2240. Okay, I'll just touch a few on these ones so that we don't waste too much time. There's 2 input sources for your background music. There's 3 line or line stroke mic level. Okay, what it means is the 3 inputs, you can use them for line level, which means you connect audio sources like your music, or you can connect the same input to a microphone level. Okay, and then you also have a telephone input, like I've told you with the 1800 series, where you have access to a telephone PABX. They can use it also with the VM2000 series. You have a remote microphone, a maximum of 4 RM200M. This is a remote microphone. I will show you the picture when you come to it. It supports speaker line of 100 volts. It also supports a power input. Outputs are designed on a speaker line. There will be 5 zones, okay? These 5 zones are powered by 120 or 240. There is one direct speaker output. Like I've said, 5 zones with on and off switch or attenuator. 70 volt or 150 volts is achievable, but we'll not talk about it. There's one line output pre-master, not necessary for us. There's a recording output, might be necessary. There are five priority levels provided. This is important. Right. What it means is under emergency, when the amplifier is being used under emergency, you can have your emergency messages set up in different priorities. So your alert is your lower priority. Your evac is your higher priority. Your microphone can be the next highest priority. But in this case, the VM2000 series does not come with a dedicated fireman's microphone, as you will see in the next product. Okay, you can connect it to 24-volt power backup if you want. Yes, I was right. You can cascade 9 VM3000. Of the 9, one of them will be a master. The other one will be sub or slave 1 to slave number 8, giving you a total of 45 zones. All right. Right, let's take a look what this does. This amplifier is able to do the following things. Though it's not EN54 compliant, it is able to monitor your speaker lines for short circuit, open circuit, earth leakage faults. It is also able to monitor the amplifier module inside for any faults. There's a built-in CPU that is monitored. It is able to monitor every Cat5, Cat6 cable, FTP cable, for example, that you've connected between your microphones and the amplifier for any problems, or somebody has disconnected the microphone, it will throw up a system error. Right. You also have an option of recording up to 7 messages, 2 of them being emergency alert and emergency evac, and then the 5 being your general message, like a COVID awareness message, maybe your marketing message, whatever you might call it. So you can have a space of 5 general message plus 2 emergency messages. That's it. And of the 5 messages, once they are triggered, normally they play to the length and the duration of the message stops, but your alert or evac message will always be continuously repeated until somebody stops it. Right. A quick look at the front of the amplifier. What it looks like. This is applicable to both models, the VM2140 and the VM2240. Right. You have got line or microphone input controls where you can adjust the treble, the bass, the volume of that input. Similarly, your auxiliary input. As you see, we have got 2 BGM sources, but you only have a single control in the front. So it means whatever BGM source you are playing, you can adjust the volume. If you are not using BGM2, only the volume for BGM1 will be used. If you are using BGM2, and then it will adjust the volume, this is the setup for BGM2. So it's important that you always select one BGM source to use. There's a master volume, okay? And then there's a master reset here. You can push a small money clip, it will reset the amplifier should it get stuck. You do have what we call zone selector buttons. So what it means is if you are playing, if you want to make an announcement, you can make an announcement to zone 1, zone 3, zone 4, zone 5 if you want, or you can hit an all call. So all call will switch on these green lights as soon as you start announcing, it goes through. If you are playing music, in certain areas, you choose where you want to play the music and you adjust the music on that area's volume. So the little volume controls written zone 1 to zone 5 at the bottom, this only does music volume level per output. Okay, sorry guys. Right, there is also a level meter that comes with the amplifier. This is just to give you guys technical side. This is where you need to keep a close eye on. You have some LED lights that lights in intensity of the signal that's being pushed out. Never let the amplifier go to the red one. It tells you it's clipping and you hear the sound in the speaker distorting. Your amplifier will start to warm up and eventually they might blow out. So it's always nice to keep your volume levels to a level that is audible by the audience and that is also safe for the amplifier. Right. Right. Not going to go much to the rear. What I wanted to bring to you is just want to show you if I can get some microphones. Okay. So this is basically, in a nutshell, the entry level voice alarm system from TOA. This system, as I've mentioned before, does not comply to EN54. If you buy it as it is, right, let me mention this. If you buy it from us as it is, it comes as a PA, right? You have an option of buying what is called SV Sugar Victor -200. This is a special card that you put in the amplifier. It's called a surveillance card. What it does is it will then allow the amplifier to monitor each of your speaker lines for any short circuits, for any open circuits, for any earth leakage faults. Okay. And if you want to download those 5 messages, general plus, remember, 2 emergency messages, you need to buy a separate module called EV200. Okay, so the EV200 does your messages, the SV200 does your surveillance. Right. Good job. This is the only microphone that is designed, like I said, for the VM2000 series. This is the amplifier that is designed for the VM2000 series. Not amplifier. This is the RM. This is when let me say remote microphone. So remote microphone, we were referring to this microphone. This is the microphone that comes with the VM2000. If you are purchasing it and your client wants to do zone paging, which means he selects the area that he wants and only talks to that microphone, only talk to that zone, you use the RM200. However, this is a 10-button microphone. You can expand it if you want. There are another 10 buttons by using what is called, let me do this, RM210S. Let me show you what it looks like. It's just half of that button. It's half of that microphone. And what you do with that one, it comes with all the screws, all the mounting brackets. You just clip and mount, it becomes a big microphone. So to expand the number of buttons usable, if you need to have more buttons on the RM200, you simply buy this little module and you clip it. Comes with the clipping cable to connect to the microphone. Over here, it's got some gap that you see. It comes with brackets with all the necessary screws. All you need to do is start screwdriver, assemble the microphone, clip in the cables. It becomes a microphone indeed for you, and you can use it. So the RM200, let me mention it. The left side, as you see, it's got a red flap covered button. On the VM2000, this can work to evacuate. You can have an alert message if you want. You can have something else, and then you can put your zones over here. Okay, so this is in a nutshell what comes with the VM2000. So like I've said, it's a very basic system that we have, very basic entry-level system that we sell. We support it. Like I've said, if you do buy this, it comes with a cookbook. If you are unable to get the cookbook, you can download from our online library. By the way, guys, TOA does have an online library for all our products. So in this online library, you are able to download the firmwares, you are able to download the software, you're able to download the manuals, you're able to download the cookbook for that product. It's there free of charge. We don't charge for firmware upgrades. We don't charge for any download fees. You just click on there, straight on, download whatever you want. Okay, so I will show you how the TOA online library works. Please remind me if I forget at the end of our session. Right, so this is basically one of our entry-level voice alarm system. Okay, one of the biggest selling voice alarm system, both here in SA and in our Africa, has been the VM3000, which is our medium level voice alarm system. It's a medium level voice alarm system. And the reason why it's been sold effectively, it's very cost effective. Also, it does a lot more than a standard VM2000. Almost similar to the VM2000, but slightly different, even in build and in construction. The VM3000 is EN54 certified. That's one point. which is not the same as the VM2000. It's EN54 certified, right? So what I'm going just to show you today is just the product, what it looks like, what it does, and then why it is different to the VM2000 first, and then we'll compare this to the VX3000, which is our latest flagship that we have released. So the VM3000 also offers you both PA and evac, which means you can use it on a day-to-day use to make announcements. You can also use it for connection to a fire panel. And then whenever your fire panel on the single knock picks up a single knock, the relay that closes on the fire panel, you can interface it with the VM3000 that on a single knock, it will play an alert, and on a double knock, it will play an evac, either to a single zone, to multiple zones, to all areas. It doesn't matter. You choose what you want it to do. So it's very convenient. It offers you very convenient PA functions. It got built-in DSP technology. By the way, I had forgotten to mention this. On the VM2000, you can also interface to a fire panel, but you are limited very much to just to 3 fire panel triggers. Okay, let's go on. This one has got DSP technology, which means it gives you a bit more flexibility and good sound reproduction. The DSP technology that's built into VM3000 is running or runs at 48 kilohertz sampling frequency. With the VM2000, your messages are MP2, okay? MP2 files. With the VM3000, your messages are WAV, WAV messages, right? This was TOA's first all-in-one system with built-in voice alarm, with built-in EV message, with a digital mixer preamplifier, with either 240-watt package or a 360-watt package. The unit itself, like the VM2000 as well, is a 3U height. It's expandable to 60 zones with a simple cascade connection, right? This will talk on the technical side when we do a software programming of the VM in our training session for tomorrow. But for sales, just know a single VM system is able to do up to 60 zones. What it means is per VM3000, you saw 2 pictures, or you got 2 drawings on my screen. These represent, let's do this. These 2 pictures, you will notice the first picture represents our voice alarm system manager, as we call it, VA. You will notice you might have a VM-3240 VA that represents our system manager. It will have like a display, a menu. It will have a fireman's microphone. You will have a red flip-mounted button. You will have an evac, an alert, and a reset. And then the expansion one, the expansion to this one, it can also be a 3240 or, sorry, a 240 or a 3360, which is a 360. It will not have some of these connections. So per one full-blown VM3000 system, you'll always have 1 amplifier, 1 system manager, supported by 9 expansion amplifiers, right? So I wanted to make sure you are aware of that. Where we have used them, malls, shopping malls, we have installed them in shopping malls. I know I did the installation I helped the installation, commission the installation in Abuja at the Gateway Mall. It's called our VM3000. There's several sites scattered in Nigeria with also the VM3000. So we do them at shopping malls, retail stores, small theaters, multi-purpose halls, hospitals, parking facilities, office buildings, factories, schools, fitness centers. The list goes on and on and on. So this is what we call entry level. However, I also want to bring you to the attention that the VM2000 is basically very entry level. The VX3000 is scalable, but to 60 zones. The VX3000 that I'm going to bring to your attention is scalable to over 2,000 something zones. And then the SX is also scalable to over something 2,000 zones. So these are normally the coverage by picture of what a VM will do compared to what a standard VM will do. So a standard VM2000 will cover that little space. in that same scenario, a standard VM3000 can cover that space. If we are to compare the coverage of the VM3 to a VX3, you see it also covers a little bit bigger than what a standard VM3000 would do. All right. I want to bring to your attention the following. A VM3000 is a single bus system by default. A single bus in our audio language means you have one input, or you have one source, or you have one microphone that you switch on, and you select a zone, it only talks to that zone. So if the other zones were playing music, music will be muted in those zones because the bus has been taken over by that microphone, right? You can also make it a two bus system. Two bus system will then mean you can have two inputs, two microphones talking to two different areas at any given time. That's a two bus system. So the VM2000 default is a two bus, sorry, is a one bus. The VM3000 default is a one bus, but there's an option to make it a double bus, a two bus. Right. It is based on EN54 regulation. So this is fully EN54 certified. It comes with comprehensive fault detection and indication. It is continuously monitoring your speaker line for any short, open, or earth leakage. It comes with a built-in remote fireman's microphone, as you saw in the previous picture. Let me see if I can do this for you. Okay, I normally try and do this. It helps. TOA, let's type in VM3360 VA, so that as I go through the PowerPoint for the few steps that I want to show you, you can cover that one as much as possible. Okay, right. As you see from the picture, this is a much better picture. We were saying it comes with a built-in message platform on the CPU. You can actually download messages into the VM3000. This one is different. Remember, the VM2000 can allow you to do 5 general messages, 2 emergency messages. The VM3000, you can do 6 general messages plus 2 emergency messages. It comes with a fire emergency initiate button. Sorry, comes with an evac button, comes with an alert button, comes with a reset button, comes with a built-in fireman's microphone. You do have your zone 1, like this one is called zone 1 to zone 6, because it's a 6-zone output. This is what we call the VA. This is the master amplifier. The master amplifier design is equally the same whether you're dealing with a 3240 or you're dealing with a 3360. So the 3240 is 240 watts maximum over 6 zones. The 3360 is 360 watts maximum over 6 zones. All right. Any questions? Are you okay, guys? Okay, I hope we are good. I see everyone still on the forum. Okay, it's been exhausting. Let's minimize that and I can go back. So where we were saying built-in remote fireman's microphone is that microphone mounted in front. It can be operated directly by connecting to AC, or if you want, you can buy our TOA VX2000DS, which is basically a UPS that allows you to connect it to batteries, and then it can connect the output to the VM3000. So this is fully operational. You can have it operating on batteries, you can have it operating on AC, purely AC. It's got built-in voice alarm message that I've told you. Assignable outputs for AB wiring. It does first evacuation, alert, and evac. So first evacuation this is where from the fire panel, let's say you have a building with multiple floors, they will tell you when there's a fire on floor number 3, we want that message, an alert message to play first. Then if nothing happens, when the floor above and the floor below to start playing the same alert message. And still, if nothing happens, that immediate zone that had the alert must then go to evac, and then the other zones will then continue the sequence and go also to evac. Eventually, if nothing happens, the whole entire building goes on to evac. So this is normally first evac. We use it here a lot in South Africa, but it is doable with the VM3000. Some of the things that are monitored, your front mount black fireman's microphone, the actual voice call is monitored. You don't want to have a fireman's microphone that's not working especially when there's an emergency. So that is monitored. As soon as there's a fault, it will throw the fault up. CPU, there's a CPU in every system manager, every expansion. There's a built-in CPU that is also monitored. There's internal memory under program, which is your EV messages. If your message gets corrupted for any reason, the system will throw a fault. The amplifier itself is monitored. Your emergency contact input from the fire panels are monitored. Your speaker lines going to your several areas are monitored. Your batteries and power supplies are monitored. Your system communication between the VA as well as its expansion supporting amplifiers, they are all fully monitored. Okay, this one is not necessary, but this section is. So on the VM3000, just to wrap up now, like I've told you, it comes with a digital audio mixing, which is under DSP. It is run on 48 kilohertz, analog to digital, digital to analog conversion. My voice is analog. So if I'm making an announcement, music is analog. We're making an announcement, the system will then convert it to digital, processes everything, converts back to analog. Okay, so it tries and smooth it out and try and create a very good sound output. As you guys know, we all do the same. I'm not sure in Nigeria, but here we normally get MP3s. We have a USB with 1,000 songs, and they're all MP3. So as you notice in the industry, MP3 is a worst format. The music quality is bad. So as soon as you start compressing music, you're really losing quality. Let's take a look at a CD. A CD, typical CD. If you take the very Davido, his song on CD, and the same song that has been converted to MP3, and you play it, you can hear a huge difference in the sound quality. Okay, so what a CD is sampled at 44.1 kilohertz, but this samples whatever we are putting into it at 48 kilohertz. So we're trying to really do a lot of justice to the analog input to try and clean them up and trying to get a decent signal output. Right. If we are going to install or download messages into the VM3000, guys, you need to remember on the technical side, a maximum of 10 messages. On the sales side, you only need to know there's supposed to be 2 emergency messages, a maximum of 6 general messages. All right. Okay, so this one we are not going to worry about it. This is not our scope. Our scope was just to introduce to you to the VM3000. Let me just touch briefly on the VM3000 again, just now, 1 second. Okay, let's show you what the microphones are. So the VM3000, once again, has a special microphone, which is called RM, which is called RM300. Okay, let's have a look. So the RM300 MF is a special microphone for the VM3000, which is an emergency microphone. As you remember in our presentation, we were saying the front of the VA comes with a fireman's microphone by default. You do have an option of installing an external fireman's microphone, right? The maximum system microphones that the VM will allow, the VM2000 allows you for 4 200 Ms, M200 Ms, 4 of them, 4 microphones maximum. The VM3000, right? You can have a maximum of 4 emergency microphones if you want. You can also have a maximum of 4 emergency microphone and 4 RM200 MS. They work on the same, they can also work. So you will have total, depending on the software that you have, the firmware that you have, you can program up to 8. Or if you want, you can have a maximum of 4 of these ones. So let's just recap that. The same microphone, the RM200M, sometimes MS, is one and the same thing if you Google it. Maximum on a VM3000 with combination of these ones will be 4 on 4. That means 4 firemen, 4 general microphone. However, I also told you with the RM200MS that I'm showing you, all the left side buttons work on the VM2000. On the VM3000, This is a general microphone. These left buttons do not work. So most people have phoned me to say, but I want to use the red button. It's not evacuating. It won't evacuate. This microphone is not designed to handle any emergency on the VM3000. If you want to be able to evacuate, or your client wants to be able to evacuate, please make sure that the client is coated on this microphone. You can expand, like I've said, you can expand this microphone also by this following unit, which is your expansion unit. It's a TOA RM320. Okay, let's have a look. So if the buttons that come with the microphone here, you see there's only the red button, the evac, the alert, the emergency, the microphone. If you take a closer look once this page is opening, if you take a closer look over here, guys, and we go back to just take a closer look at this microphone. Okay, and you go to this, where's our VM? Okay, hold on. That microphone is exactly this panel. As you see, this represents the fireman's microphone. So the RM300MF will have all these functions, or has got all these buttons that represents this left side of your VM3000 VA. Okay, right, let's have a look at the expansion button. Okay, to expand that button, the number of buttons you employ the RM320F, which means you can have 20 extra buttons to your microphone. Maximum number of these ones, if I remember correctly, is 4. So you'll have 80 buttons in total, plus the existing 4 buttons, 3 plus 1, 4 buttons. So it is possible in the case that you want to expand the buttons to match the zones, 60 zones. You just need to buy 4 of these ones, and then you can name them as you want, and you can do your select your zone, use the microphone, select another zone, make an all call, combine some zones. It's completely doable. So let me revise. VM3000, there are 2 models. VM3240 VA, which is your master, 240 watts over 6 zones. VM3360 VA, your other master, 360 watts over 6 zones. Expansion amplifiers, VM3240 VM3240E represents your 6-zone 240 watt expansion. Your VM3360E represents your 360 over 6 zones expansion. Maximum number of expansion per any system is 9. So it will be 9 plus 1 master times 6 gives you 60 zones. Applicable microphones are M200 MS, standard MS microphone. Okay, RM200 MS, left side does not work. You can expand it with an RM210. Another microphone that you can use, RM300, which is our fireman's microphone. Okay, that you can use, and you can expand it with an RM320. Right, then let's come to the last bit of the VM3000. And a whole entire 10 amplifiers, which is one of these and 9 expansion, can be backed up by one single standby amplifier. There are 2 amplifier modules that you can use to back up your VM3000. The first one is a VP2241. Let me do this. And the other one is a VP2421. So VP2241. Okay, just to show you what it looks like. Okay, this is a single channel 100-volt amplifier that we use to back up or to act as a standby amplifier. This is what it looks like. So you can have by whole entire 60 zones, you can have them backed up by one single amplifier. If your client has got the budget and is not worried, you can back each amplifier separate with its own backup amplifier. It's completely doable, right? And for your power, if you are going to have batteries connected to the VM, you don't connect those 24-volt batteries directly. You would need the VX2000 DS. Let's have a look. This is our TOA. We call it TOA UPS to make life simpler. So it's called VX2000 DS. Okay, let me show you what it looks like. So basically, this is the VX2000 DS. As you look at it, you will notice there's mains power, that will light up. If you are charging batteries, there's an LED that will charge or flash. When your batteries are fully charged, it will stay solid green. You have a battery check and a battery monitor. So what happens is this guy is responsible in making sure that your batteries are in peak operating condition. They are fully charged. He maintains them. If there's any issues with any of the batteries, he will then send that fault to the VA, and then the VA can log a fault and display a fault to say battery charging error. So basically, as you see, this is where you connect your VMs at the back. Okay, this is where you connect your. I'm not going into technical because I've got non-technical people. So here you'll connect your 24-volt input from the equipment, 24-volt going out. Your batteries, 2 batteries, 12-volt in series, gives you 24-volt. We recommend that you use 65 ampere hour batteries or 100 ampere hour batteries. But for you to be able to know how many batteries or which type of batteries to use per DS, you need to use the VM3000 design tool, which you can make it a course for another day. So I can show you if you want in the future, you can talk to me. I can take you through how to use information from site that we have worked your site. We have got 6 zones. You know how many speakers are going to that zone. You have determined all that information. You come to the office, you open the VM3000 design tool, you put that information in, you make sure that it corresponds. The system will be able to generate a BOQ for you, and you can put that order through to Akim, and Akim can supply you a system that will work. All right. Awesome. VM3000, have I left anything, guys? We good? Great stuff. Right. The next voice alarm system that we have just released. You heard me saying the VM2000 is very difficult to do remote technical support because it doesn't connect to a laptop for configuration. Everything is hardwired, it's deep switch settings. The VM3000, you can connect that to your laptop, and then if you have any desk, you've got TeamViewer or any other program that you can use, we can then remotely log in, have a look at what's going on, and adjust the program, and you can have a healthy working system. So the VM3000, we can do remote support. Here comes the VX3000. So though the VM3000, you can do remote support because you can connect a laptop in, the VM3000 itself, the VA, and the expansion amplifiers, the cable connection at the back, though it is Cat5, it does not run on Ethernet. It only runs on RS485. The microphones that I was showing you, I'd forgotten this, because this always comes. The RM200, this one, at the back of it, unfortunately, I might not have a decent picture. I don't have a picture of it. At the back of it, it's got 2 RJ45 connections, sockets, where you plug in a patch cable. Don't plug this microphone to a network. It does not work. That cable is not Ethernet. It is RS485. Okay, so that cable is RS485. Similarly, connection between the amplifiers and the VA, like I've just mentioned to you. Okay, let's see. Connection between this one to the expansion to the next expansion, though there's Cat5 cable that we use, shielded STP cable that I recommend. That connection cannot be terminated to a network switch. These communicate amongst themselves using RS485. The longest you can run a cable from the VA to your remote microphone, being it a fireman's microphone or your RM microphone, the cable length must be contained within 800 meters. You can run it up to 800 meters, but this is only doable if you install proper good grade STP cable, which is Cat5 STP, Cat6 STP, Cat7 FTP. So please ensure that if you are doing this, don't just tell your client that, yeah, it's okay, I can connect 800 meters. You'll be shocked that you go to site, you haven't installed the right cable, the system will refuse to work. You can also assist those remote microphones far out in the field to work by installing a TOA 24-volt external power pack to power up that microphone. Okay, cool. We are done and dusted with the VM3000. Okay. VX3000. This is a network-based, decentralized, compact, scalable voice alarm system. Right, let's take a look. As you see, I've got two frames, so you'll hear me saying an 8F, that's a 8F. There's a 4F, there is a 16F, all right? So I'll be explaining, if you hear me saying 8F, 4F, I'm referring to this whole thing. One of this whole thing is called a frame. So we shortcut it to 8F or a 16F or a 4F, depending on the model. Right, this is network based. So connection between frame and next frame. This can be done through a network switch, but you can connect. We have built in a two-port, 1 gig network switch built into the frame. So you can connect, if you're having 8 frames, a maximum of 8 frames in the same server room, you can just go LAN A, LAN B, LAN A, LAN B. There's a LAN A and LAN B on the back of the frame. So you can go LAN A, LAN B, LAN A, LAN B, LAN B until your number 8, and then you're sorted. Okay, let's do this. Let me just clean up my Google so that I show you at the back. Right on. So for sales, the VM3000 is fully digital. It supports digital amplifiers, and it is very compact in build. The VM3000, that system that I was showing you, that VM3000 with a black microphone, weighs an average of 18 kgs. The 360, I think it's about 19.6. I can't remember the specs, but it's about 19 kilos. Compared to the VX3000, weighs pretty much nothing. That frame weight doesn't weigh a thing. So the VM3000 is quite heavy, robust, and it's also old school amplifier, so it produces a lot of heat. It needs proper air con. The VX3000 system, the frames are all completely digital. The power supply of the frame is not transformer based. They are all switched mode power supplies. So it's very, very compact. The amplifiers that you put in there, they are fully digital. So that frame is really, really compact. Let's do this. Let me show you VX. Let's have a VX3004F. All right. Hopefully I should have something better. Okay. Let's wait for that picture to come up. Then we proceed with what we are doing. Right. So this is typical of what we call a frame. It is 3U height space in a rack. It is a full width rack space. So it takes 3U height and it's a full width. So this in particular that I have is a 4F frame, which means that I put an amplifier there, there are 4 amplifiers in. So where we were explaining about connection, right? This is the rear of the frame. So you see here, there's a LAN A, LAN B. These are the network ports built into of the network switch that's built in. So if I have 8 frames, I'll start with this frame and say LAN A to B. Next one, LAN A to B, LAN A to B, LAN A to B, connecting up to 8 frames. Then the last one, which will be the last one out there, you bring it back to this one. So it's a redundant network connection topology. If you are connecting to an external switch, you can have this one on switch number 1, this one on switch number 2. The next frame, switch number 1, switch number 2. And you have your 2 switches running on 2 different legs of a fiber. So you have created a fiber backbone, and you have made sure that if your fiber goes down on one side, your switch does not affect the amplifier's operation. So it is critical that you have this one properly configured, because if, for example, somebody comes and pulls the cable from here to the next frame, The system will immediately go into fault. This amplifier is still able to broadcast your messages. The rest of the 7 amplifiers cannot broadcast because they are not connected to the switch. But the moment it does, these are monitored. All right. So let's go to where we are so that we can share our discussion. Okay. So when we're talking of decentralized, a decentralized system means I don't have to have all my frames in one server room. If it's a big setup like an airport, you can have these frames in several server rooms across the airport. And as long as they are connected to the same network, you are able to monitor each and every event happening in each and every frame across the whole entire airport. So this is what we call decentralized. The advantage of a decentralized system. We all know from the technical point of view that running long speaker cables in any installation is a recipe for disaster, because this is where you might have our guys pulling the cable, they are tired, they're under pressure, they make mistakes, cables get shorted out, and a whole lot of drama happens, okay? So decentralized allows you to move your rack, install your rack to a server room as close to the area where you want to save it. Number one. Number two, it brings a lot of cost cutting on the price of copper, on the price of speaker line. So in other words, you run shorter speakers. Number two, you also save on money for the installation. Number three, you make a happy customer because he doesn't have to pay that huge bill for PH30 speaker wiring cable. Right. That's one advantage of a decentralized system. Compact means the racks, as I've shown you, they are very compact and they are very small and lightweight. Scalable, you can start off a system with one rack, one frame. After a couple of weeks, the client can say, now I'm ready, server room number 2 is done, I want 4 racks. You go and install 4 racks. Next time, after 3 months, he says, guys, my budget is now okay, please come and install another 4 in server room number C, and you carry on. So scalability, you can connect one single VM up to a maximum of 40. Currently, the software allows you to do 32, but I believe the upgraded firmware allows you to do a maximum of 40 of these frames per system. If that is not enough, you are also able to create another system within this system. So let's say, for example, you have used 32 frames, and now they want some other, again, 32 frames. You can also install 32 frames, and in the software, you can use what we say system combination. You can combine up to 8 independent systems to create one huge system that can be monitored 24/7. You have files that are date and time stamped. You have log files of up to 10,000 captured by a single PC. So that's how flexi this is. All right. Let's have a look. For those who are going to be doing fiber, or you are going to be doing networking, and you are going to be running this on a network, we do recommend some switches that you have. From our experience, we normally want to ask you to use switches that are 1 gig ports. It helps you, though the traffic is very little, but it can become hectic because the system is monitoring things across it, things across what is connected. It's also monitoring everything else that's happening. It's log filing, it's archiving. So the traffic can become a little bit hectic. So we normally want you to use 1 gig ports. We have never had issues when we are using them. You can use them on shared networks, which means you can use them when you are with on a corporate network. It's entirely up to you. You are not limited. You can have these ones, the same VX, say for example, at your office, plugged to the same network, it works. The VX3000, the VX3000 that we are discussing now, also gives you an option of connecting up to 40 people as an emailing option. So what happens is, as soon as the VX detects a fault, it can automatically send 40 emails to 40 recipients that you've listed in it. But for it to be able to do this, obviously, it needs to sit on a network. It also needs to be given an SMTP server number so that it will be able to know that I've received a fault. I'm sitting on the network. Now let me send those emails. It is EN50. We will recommend that you use EN54 fiber optic switches if available. And then that should offer you redundancy and also maintenance from any point. So what we are trying to say is, if you have these switches on your network in a decentralized system, you don't have to be by the master frame, for example, to talk to the system. You can just plug your laptop anyway along the network ring. You'll be able to talk and communicate and monitor each and every event of the VX3000. Advantages of a decentralized system with a VX. Number one, the system is no master required. What you mean is, of all the frames you have, they don't rely on any other frame to become a master. They are masterless. Number two, in a decentralized system, as you notice on my picture, you will run less speaker cables. As you see, I've got a rack here with batteries, with a microphone. I have a rack here with batteries, with microphone. I have a rack here. I have a rack here. This is a whole big canvas, okay? What it means is, if I were going to put all the equipment here and run speaker cables out to each and every little speaker in each and every zone, that would be some serious speaker cabling. All right. So by decentralizing, you run short speaker cables. Right. As also, even if the microphone here is connected to this frame, I'm able to choose any of the zones, any of the areas available on my site, and I can page from any of the microphones. Okay. Advantage of decentralized. This is suitable for wide area networks also. So you can have a VM3000 in one side of Abuja. I mean, in one side of Lagos. You can have another maybe somewhere again. As long as you are on the same network, you do your networking. You can also do paging over WAN. So it works on both WAN and LAN. You can do for scalability. This is where we were talking about. You can do from a single zone to 2,560 zones. This is serious because 2,560 will represent a massive system. Maybe it's an airport, but that airport has to be huge because 2,560 zones that you can address individually at any given time. You have a maximum of 150 watts minimum amplifier package, up to 320 watts of power that you can broadcast over the 2,560 zone. It's very easy to expand. Flexibility, all functions are available in a single frame. All main frames can be combined. 3 amplifier modules, which I'll explain, 2 power supplies. Right, let's do a bit on there. So for both sales and technical, if I may say, maybe procurement, a VM3000, VX3000 has got 3 types of frames. The first one is a 4F, the second one is an 8F, the third one is a 16F. So those are the 4 types of frame. Right, let's take a bit about the frames, then I think I'll be wrapping up. The 4F allows you to install 4 amplifiers. Maximum wattage per frame is 2,000 watts. The 8F allows you to install 2 zone amplifiers and 1 standby amplifier. So it takes 3 amplifiers. Maximum zone wattage will be 1,000. The 16F allows you to install 1 zone amplifier and 1 standby amplifier. You can, however, make the standby amplifier slot work as a second amplifier zone with the 16F. The major difference between the frames, the 4F will do 4 individual independent zones. The 8F will do 8 zones sharing 1,000 watts of power. The 16F can do 16 zones sharing 1,000 watts of sharing default 500 watts of power, or if you combine the second amplifier to be a zone instead of a standby, then you can do 1,000 watts over 16 zones. Let's take up the system maximum configuration. You can do 160 VX3000 frames in one massive system. You can do 1,280 remote microphones. This will be, I'll be more than thrilled to come and assist in commissioning this kind of a system, because that would be, yeah, that would take some really, really superhuman programming and time to really set it up properly. You can have 640 audio inputs. So 640 means I can have 640 CD players, DSTV decoders, DMX decoder, if you say, any audio source to play music into my areas. 640. The system can take a maximum, look at this, 1,024 messages freely configurable. Remember VM2000, 5 general messages, 2 emergency messages. VM3000, 6 general messages, 2 emergency messages. VX3000, 1,024 messages freely configurable. The advantage is this. Let's come to a typical operation where you might need these messages. You might have several languages in a nation, but you might have what we call key languages in that particular nation, which almost everyone might understand. So I don't know about West Africa, but I know with East Africa, Central Africa, they use like Swahili as their common black language, okay, if I may say. And then they have their own local tribe languages. So what you can do, for example, like let's take example for South Africa. I can have an alert message in isiZulu. I can have the next message in Xhosa. I can have the next message in Afrikaans. I can have the next message, which is an alert message in English. I can have another message in Tswana, which is a Tswana language. So what we then do is you can have these messages, though they are the same as alert. So when you are programming the VX3000 or the technical side, you then program these messages in a loop fashion. So as soon as the system goes into alert, it will start with the Zulu message, the Xhosa message, move to the next message, go to the Afrikaans message, go to the English message, and repeat the sequence. So this is where we would manipulate this huge number of messages in a VX3000 to try and cover as much audio, as much of our audience as possible in the first choice, in their first language. All right. You can do, like I said, 2,560 function. There is also an option to adjust the delays. Okay. So you notice with audio in any large, big halls, big malls, sometimes you might have like a delay. If you are moving across maybe one building to the next, you might have a delay. It's normal with sound. So what you do is you have a delay function built in where you can delay the next cluster to be exactly as the other cluster. So if you move through, you have got uniform sound. It also does a very important feature that I like called ambient noise control. This is very useful with the VX3000 in a shopping mall, number one. Very useful at airports where you have got your baggage collection hall, your immigration check-in counters. Now, these areas that tend to be extremely loud, extremely busy as soon as there's a plane landing or departing, as well as sometimes it goes softer because that plane is gone, right? So ambient noise, as I've mentioned earlier on, this is the existing room noise. This is why you find at airports, you go into the airport, even if it's busy, the announcement always comes clear. What we do with airport sound, we employ what we call built-in ambient noise control. So in the areas like your baggage hall, in the areas like your immigration check-in counters, we'll put a special microphone. And this special microphone, all it does, after doing our calibration, all it will do, it will just sit there and wait and listen to the sound, to the volume of the sound in that area. As soon as the volume of that sound starts going up, this device, this microphone will send that information to the VX. The VX will automatically adjust the volume depending on what we want. So typically we normally set it at 6 dB. So if the ambient noise starts going up every time it goes up, our system will be pushed 6 dB above. This is the reason why in airports, whether you come to the baggage collection hall, if somebody is making an announcement from a microphone, you can always hear. Even if it's dead quiet, there's nothing happening, you can always hear. And when you hear the sound, when people are full, and when you listen to the sound, when people have gone, the sound is never irritating. So we do this by using what we call built-in ambient noise control, right? We have filters for those who are very good with audio, your DSPs. We have got filters for the audio in and audio output, your presets and your compressors that you can use to adjust and equalize your sound so that it sounds a little bit better. Okay. Right, let's just finish up. These are the frames, as we call them. The 4F is the most powerful because it can accommodate 4 amplifiers, or you can make 3 amplifiers, 1 standby, or you can just use 1, 2, 3, 4 amplifiers. The maximum you can take 500, 500, 500, 500. This can do 2000 watts. The next one is an 8F, which is the flexible. You can have amplifier for zone 1, amplifier for zone 2, sorry, amplifier for bus 1, amplifier for bus 2, that's the right word, and your standby. So what happens is maximum amplifier you can put here type is a 500, 1000 watts over 8 zones, or you can use you can also support it with 1000 watt, sorry, with a 500 watt standby. Right, let's talk a bit about this. The 16F is called the efficient. 16 zones, 16 areas. One is a single bus, like I've mentioned, so you'll have 500 watts of power shared over 16. If you want, in the new firmware, you can make this one, which is supposed to be a standby, to be a channel amplifier. Then you can have 8 zones on 500, the other 8 zones on 500, which means you will then be having 1000 watts over 16 zones. Okay. Okay, sorry, I forgot this is not PowerPoint. These are the amplifier modules. You really have to see them to believe they are tiny, extremely tiny. So the first entry level one is a 150 watt amplifier module. The second is a 300 watt amplifier module. The last one is a 500 watt amplifier module. Okay, until we release other amplifier modules, at the moment you are stuck with this one. They are class D amplifiers, very lightweight. They also come with good cooling capabilities. All the systems have got built-in thermocoupled amplifiers, so you can sweeten the deal and tell your client, yeah, our amplifiers are good. Even if you have erratic aircon, though we recommend it, we also have thermocoupled fans. As soon as the amplifier starts producing a lot of heat, the fan will then start up and start running faster. If it cools down, it slows and then it cuts out. So the amplifiers are thermocoupled to try and cool them whenever they are excessively producing any heat. Right. Sorry guys, I'm forgetting it's not PowerPoint. So, right. Other system components that we've just introduced. Number one is a VX300LO. Basically, on the technical side, as you notice on the VX3000, there's no record out like the VM2000. There's no record out like the VM3000. But however, on the VX3000, you don't have a record out. So what we have done, because we found that necessary, that sometimes your client might want to record, especially things that are happening under an alert for insurance purposes. So you would use a VX300LO connected to an external recorder like a Marantzi that I normally use, or a Denon. I also use a Denon recorders a lot. The 500 series, 700 series, I use them a lot. So you can do external recording of whatever paging, alert message, evac message that is running out from your system. We also have a VX3000 PM. This is an external preamp matrix, sits on the same network. So let's say, for argument's sake, you have got this huge campus, but then the admin block is further away. There's also a server room there in the admin block. So this can go to the server room in the admin block. You can connect your 10 additional audio inputs. So you can connect music source on number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, number 6, number 7, up to number 10. All right. And what happens is you can then select which music source you want, increase the volume, and that music source can be routed to the zone of your choice. So this doesn't have to be connected to the VX3000 hardwire. It sits on the network. Then we have the VX3000 CT, which is a control panel. The device will add 9 function keys and 8 volume controls. So you will see there's 8 volume controls, which means, let's suppose I've got output number 1, which is in building number 1, ground floor, and there's always lots of noise. Then I've got maybe another building and whatever. Then you can adjust the volumes remotely of that building as long as the operator is sitting in front of this unit. So these are the product enhancements that we have brought in new to the VX3000. The last section here that we're dealing with is the applicable remote microphones for the VX3000. Remember, on the VM2000, the RM200MS can do emergency, the red button works. On the VM3000, the RM200, the left side is dead. You have a fireman's microphone for the VM, if you remember, RM300MF with an expansion, but 20 button expansion, RM320F. Right, let's deal with this. The VX3000 has got a dedicated fireman's microphone called RM200SF. So this is a fireman's microphone inherited from our flagship SX2000. It uses the RM320F, which is an expansion, but expansion module. Sorry, guys. It uses the RM320F expansion module for the VM3000 system, but in this case, you can apply it to the RM200SF, and that's how you expand the number of buttons, right? If you are connecting the RM200 system, all right, and you want to expand with the 220Fs, maximum you can do is 4. So you can have 4 maximum. So it's 4 units as maximum expansion buttons. If you are, this is on the fireman's microphone. The next microphone that is applicable, that is used, as you see, it's also completely different. Even in color, it's different. It's called RM300X. This is a much more flexible amplifier than, much more flexible remote microphone than any other microphone we have ever produced. Let me explain this. This microphone, it looks exactly like the RM200MS, okay? Though it's black in color, there's a secret behind this microphone. This microphone, in the software, you can use it as a general microphone, which means the left side and the red flag button will not work. You can use it as an emergency stroke general, which means the left side, the red buttons, this microphone can work as a fireman's microphone. At the same time, it can still execute general functions. Or you can decide to use it as just an emergency microphone, which means the left side will work as an emergency button. You can program these functions for emergency usage. Right. I like it. So the VM2000 has got 3 emergency control direction, so emergency control inputs to your fire panel. The VM3000, you have 6 emergency control inputs to the fire panel per amplifier. We'll deal with the VX3000 later on regarding that. So maximum that you can use, if you have an RM300X, which is this microphone, you can back it up by at least 7 RM320Fs. One frame is able to accept 8 microphones of any combination, right? So one frame, whether it's a 4F, 8F, 16F, you can have up to 8 microphones per frame. Right, let's see. There are 2 power supplies that you can use with the VX3000. Unlike the VM2000, where you have an option, which most people never use, the VM3000, you can use it on mains, you can use it on batteries, which most people do use. The VX3000 cannot plug it to mains. It works through a DS. Once again, we've got special DSs. One DS is called the VX3150 DS. This DS is able to power a frame that produces a maximum of 1000 watts. If you have a VX frame that is producing more than 2000 watts of power, you need a VX3000 DS. So for those small installations, small setups where you just have maybe a few zones, a few speakers, and the total power from that frame is less than 1000 watts, you can use a 3150. If you have, like, for example, a 4F frame with each module being 500 watts, that means it's 2000 watts. You then use a VX3000 DS frame. Okay. Right. So the rest is not necessary for now. Just wanted to bring this to your attention. Right. Let's talk a little bit, then I'm done. Connectivity. The VX3000 can be connected to a fire panel. It works on two modes. If your relays on the fire panel are normally closed or normally open, you have a function in the system to tell it your relays are normally open or normally closed, right? Per each frame, you have 16 freely programmable control inputs, dry conduct, they don't need any voltage. You have two extra one, which are called emergency inputs. So per frame in total, you can connect, if we break it down, to 18 relays from any fire panel. Okay. So it's fully interfaceable, fully interfaceable. So you can connect this one to the fire panel. And as long as you add more frames, it means you are adding 18 plus 18 plus 18 plus 18 plus. So you have a host of fire panels that you can connect to any one system of the VX3000. Unlike the VM3000, maximum 6 control inputs that you can ever connect to a fire panel per amplifier, in which case it means for the whole system, you only have 60. With this one, per frame, 16 control inputs plus 2 emergency control inputs. Right, guys, this in a nutshell covers the voice alarm systems from TOA. The VX3000 is our flagship, fully connectable to any fire panel of your choice. It can be an Edwards, it can be a Zyton, any fire panel, as long as it offers you a relay that can either be open or that can be normally closed. The system, you tell the system, I'm working with a normally closed relay, or I'm working with a normally open relay. Okay, so I'm going to open the platform. If there are questions, discussions that you would want to address, by all means, let me know. I am done with today's presentation. There is, of course, the last product that I did say, called SX2000. The reason why I'm not bringing it up is because we have put it on hold for now. So I don't think it's necessary for us to go through it. But that one is our huge airport designed to say system. It's got 16 buses. What it means is you can have 16 microphones talking to 16 outputs at any given time. It was really designed for airport scenarios or large campus scenarios, but this has been taken over by the VX3000. So we have paused momentarily on it until further notice. Okay, gents, it's been a pleasure having you on board. If there are ladies, it has been a pleasure having you on the board. Please do excuse me for the coughs now and again. I'm just recovering, but I hope it was exciting for you. I hope you picked up a couple of hints and tips regarding TOA equipment. There's a whole lot more that you can do, but it depends on your side what you would want us to discuss. We also have design programs where we can take you through a VX3000 design to VM3000 design to VX3000 design to how to design a system using the built-in design tool, and you can come up with your own system. You just run it to us. We'll ask a few questions. We are happy. We send you the bill. So it will be a pleasure to take you guys through those design courses. Okay, so I'm opening up the floor. We are done with the presentation. I didn't make notes. Did I did I promise you something? Something is coming to my mind, but I'm not sure what I normally, when I promise to show you something at the end of the program, I normally write it down, but unfortunately I didn't have a pen close by me. So if there's anything that you think I've missed or that I've promised and I haven't shown you, please, you're more than welcome to unmute your microphone and tell me about it, then I can quickly touch on it. Okay. Akim?
Yes, I'm with Sylvius. Thank you for the class. I know it's a lot to download, but I believe you will share the recording with us. So
yes,
they can always go through the recording again and see maybe products. But if there are questions, please let us ask or
Okay, thank you very much. Please, I would like to know the possibility of integrating this system with surveillance systems.
okay, right, that's a good one. That's a very good question. Because this is a voice alarm stroke PA system. From your surveillance system, give me a bit of details. What do you want to do?
Yes, like integrating it with surveillance system like CCTV.
Mm-hmm.
So in case there is any in case there's any intrusion going on within a specific location, so maybe we can use such speakers to raise an alarm.
Okay.
Would that be possible?
That's a very good one. I like that train of thought. That's a very good one. Right. Let me tell you that the VX3000 is super flexing. What you can do, you can record a message, for example, that says, please leave the building. We are waiting for the police to come, for example, just to scare someone off. And from your surveillance system, all we would need is when you pick up that kind of an intrusion, you need to give us a relay that closes or a control trigger from your surveillance system. We tap on that control trigger, we plug it to a control input of our system. As soon as that trigger is active, for anyone who has breached that site, then it automatically plays that message back.
Okay. Thank you very much, sir.
And I like that question. Also, what we also have done at times, for some reason, clients are always difficult to understand what they actually want. We had one client who said, you know what, when there is a fire, normally your fire doors get triggered and opened up when there's a fire in the building by your access control. So this guy was adamant. He said, no. When the fire has happened, yes, the access control will normally release all my fire doors, but he wanted the fire doors to be released as soon as the public address system goes into emergency mode. Doable. We have got control outputs, relay control outputs per each system that you can also manipulate and do so. Similar again, one client came to me and said, you know what, August, I want every time there is a fire and an alert, I want to make sure that there are strobes, red strobes right around my building, so they will flash. So even if I've got workers standing in the lawn for their lunch break or just sitting in the lawn for relaxing, I want them to see the red strobe, then they don't go inside for safety. Completely doable. I've done it many times, completely doable. Right, I see a hand.
Oh, yes, it's me, Falabomi. Yeah. Fortunately, you've just touched the question I wanted to talk about. I wanted to talk about if there's an emergency, the access control, there's shutdown relays that can actually open the door and for emergency sake.
Yes.
In case of a fire. Yes.
Yes, I can hear you. That's very true. I think I just touched on it before you brought the question. Yeah, but you are very right. You can manipulate it from any side. Mostly people, like I've said, would manipulate emergency door being opened by the fire control, by the access control system. But if your client says, you know what, I want this to happen only when my VX starts playing a message, under elect or evac. It's completely doable. We can give you a control output that always closes on our side whenever we are evacuating or alerting, and you take that relay, connect it to your access door control panel, and they can always be released. It's completely doable, sir.
All right, thank you.
It's a pleasure. It's an absolute pleasure. Anyone else with a question? Okay, excellent. Let me show you. I promised you this. Okay, this is the online TOA data library. This is maintained and run by TOA Japan. If you click on it, the IP address is always the website is www.toa-products.com/international. Okay, this is let me do this. Let me see if I can grab that information. 1 second. Right, let's do this. Hopefully, if I come to the chat, awesome. Let me come here and just paste it to you guys. Right, that's the website from TOA. Awesome. So what you'll do, if you just click on that link that I've sent you, if you can grab it on that link that I've sent you, then it comes to this page always. So what is important on this page? You can use capital letters, you can use small letters, but what is important is to type in whatever model or product that you are dealing with exactly as you see it. For example, if I type in VM3240 VA, like this one, okay, and then you go to search, right, it will open up. What I want to bring to your attention, if you are using this one, always go to the CE range. Like CEGB would be slightly different to the CE range, and the SA would be slightly different to these two. So we always bring into Africa the CE range, okay? So once you have done this, all you need to do, just click again on here. It will open up, right? This is what it does. It will tell you voice alarm system amplifier 240 watts VM3240 CE. It will tell you the setting software is version 3. This was updated in 2015. This is the programming software. The firmware version is now on 303. This was done on 21 January 2020. So if you ever have equipment from TOA, all you need to do is go to the library, check on the firmware side of the equipment, what it is. We'll do it as an exercise tomorrow if you want, on the technical side. Then download the latest firmware. So this is the setting software to program the equipment. This is the firmware to upload the equipment. So if your equipment is displaying firmware 301, 302, 2.7, whatever the number, as long as it's not 3.03, it means you're running old firmware. So you just download your firmware setting software, make sure you download your firmware. You can also download the supplementary tool. The supplementary tool, guys, is just a design tool. This is what we use when we are programming, when we are designing a VM3000 system. You have a manual, you have a software manual, which tells you how to program the stuff. For those who do, you want maybe specification data, you can have specification data. For those who are happy and are comfortable with AutoCAD, when you want to do your own drawings, you can download the amplifiers DWG files, and you can draw your own system schematic as you want it. And after that, you conclude, put your drawing title, and just hand over your system with a working system schematic. Everything is completely free of charge on this website. Okay, so that's why I wanted to bring it to your attention, because sometimes people do struggle, or sometimes you buy an equipment, by the time it's shipped to you, or by the time it gets to you, it's no longer, or it's maybe way beyond this current format. So as an exercise, always come to this library when you're dealing with brand new equipment. If there is a difference in the equipment's firmware to what is sitting here on the library, please download the setting firmware to your PC, to your laptop, and make sure that when you work with the equipment, you upgrade it to the latest firmware. Thank you again, everyone. It's been an absolute pleasure having such a great team today. I'm really baffled. I took pleasure in chatting with you for all the relevant questions, for all the inputs, for all the concentration. I can only say thank you so much, guys, for having been on board with me today. For the technical side, we meet up tomorrow. Let me leave this time to Akim.
Thank you so much.
I will share, as usual, Akim knows, as soon as the video is ready of the whole training session and all these little PowerPoints that I was showing you, the PDFs, I'll forward them to one of you guys or a couple of you guys, and then you can also share those with your colleagues.
Okay, thank you, obvious. So, thank you, team, everybody for coming. So, we will share the link for tomorrow through the email for tomorrow's training. So, we hope to see you again. So, tomorrow will be fully technical. The products, one of the voice alarm systems. Really, thank you, obvious.
It's a pleasure.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure.
Thank you.